an unscheduled pit stop for tires. He may have fresher tires than Grissom. Maybe this would be good news for Kenny Wallace. Maybe Resendiz can get up there, maybe open up the lane for Kenny Wallace and Chuck Bound, as we see Tommy Houston now circulating around this third-mile racetrack. A lot of difficulties. He had come up to the front of the pack to try to get his lap back. We see some heavy smoke from that car.
He's in trouble.
Houston cuts loose, sliding up the racetrack, and makes almost contact with the concrete wall.
He did a tremendous job in saving that car. The right rear tire went down. There was smoke coming from the car. The fender that had damaged in the crash had cut the right rear tire. He didn't know it when he went in the corner. The car just simply spun out from under him.
And that was something you could see happen as we have trouble off of turn number 4 coming back to the caution. Ed Ferree is in the wall. There he is at the bottom of your screen, the orange and white car number 49. If Houston had not brought out the caution, Ferree certainly would have.
Here's Houston again as you see him working down the front straightaway, heading for turn number 1. As he started to make his set, he cuts the car to the left, and it simply breaks away.
Yeah, you can see the right rear tire blow out just as he went into the turn. That's the worst possible place that a tire can blow out for a driver, because you're on the ragged edge of control at that time.
Now, we were watching smoke from that car for about a lap and a half before that happened, so there was some indication of the sheet metal rub. And how tough is it for a driver to make the decision when to come in when he knows he has a problem like that?
Well, a lot of times, particularly when it's a rear fender, you can't tell just how much the tire is rubbing. You got to depend on the guys in the pits on the radios to tell you, hey, it's rubbing, you better watch out. One thing that we don't realize, when you see the outsides of these cars, they're all nice and smooth and contoured and everything. They look great when the race starts. But on the inside of that sheet metal, it's not quite so smooth, and sometimes there are weld seams and stuff where the car has been put together, and it's very easy when you bend one of those fenders in on a tire, you might have a sharp, jagged edge on the inside that you can't see that's going to cut the tire.
Pit road is becoming a busy place. You see Joe Nemechek, the 5th place point car, coming into this race, coming on and off pit road. Nemechek, a native of Florida. Houston has now made another visit. He comes back out onto the racetrack.
Now, we might mention, too, that because this is a new race surface, NASCAR has waived any penalties for changing tires under caution. It will be just like it was at Hickory, which was repaved earlier this year. The teams will be allowed to change 1 tire per corner on the car without penalty at any time during the event. And, of course, under green flag, they can change as many tires as they want, as often as they want.
Also, if they have a spin, they flat spot or cut tires down, they also get to change without penalty.
You look at Tommy Houston's season so far, gentlemen, and it is not exactly a model of consistency. He's had finishes as high as 2nd. He's had finishes as bad as 36th, and he is still 6th in the Grand National points.
It's been an up-and-down year for a lot of folks. Kenny Wallace came out red hot. He struggled. Then Bobby Labonte came on strong. Now he's just 5 points out. Jimmy Hensley has been a little bit up and down after his victory at Martinsville. So it hasn't been one of those years where we've seen a guy like Chuck Bound did in 1990, where he just went out there and put on a 15-race blitz that blew everybody away. So far, the drivers have been able to put together strings of 4 or 5 races, but haven't been able to string it through, from the first race to this current race in South Boston, Virginia. By the way, just before that final caution, Chuck Bound dipped underneath Kenny Wallace. He's now in the 2nd spot. Wallace is 3rd. Behind them, Butch Miller, Bobby Dotter, and the Troy Beebe machines. First 3 cars on Goodyears, next 3 cars on Hoosier tires.
The way the race started, there were 21 Goodyear shod drivers, 9 drivers on Hoosiers, as Bobby Labonte now tucks onto pit road, and he's got considerable sheet metal damage in the right front portion of your screen. You see them trying to pull it away. They're trying to get him back out immediately because we're less than a lap away from going back to green flag action. We've had 5 cautions, and we're just 75 laps into this event, and we expected an incident-filled event because it was a new race surface. There are a number of inexperienced drivers, and we haven't been disappointed so far as Steve Grissom leads us back to green once again. And Dave Resendiz is working his hardest trying to get that lap back as Chuck Bound muscles his way underneath. Let's see if he can hold on to the spot and move cleanly into 2nd place without any lap traffic affecting him.
Yeah, he should get the spot. Well, you hear a little activity as we hear it here at the racetrack. That's exactly how they sound, folks.
Chuck Bound and Dave Resendiz really leaning on each other. Bound wanting to go after leader Steve Grissom. He can't do that until he gets somehow away from the Dave Resendiz machine, and Resendiz is hanging on strong on the outside groove.
That's very surprising to me, Mark, to see Resendiz being able to run that strongly in the outside groove, and he takes the position on the racetrack away from Bound. Remember, Resendiz is 1 lap down trying to get his lap back, but Bound wasn't able to do anything with him on the inside.
And you can't blame Dave Resendiz for trying to hold that position because he has got to catch up to that car at the bottom of your screen, the cream-colored number 31 of Steve Grissom, as Cecil precipitate our 6th caution of the afternoon. Yellow fever here at South Boston.
Amazingly, we really haven't had a multi-car wreck. I mean, the drivers are running nose to tail, but most of our cautions, just about all of them, have been these slow, lazy spins coming out of turn number 2.
And we've got yellow on the speedway. That's not a surprise. We'll go to a commercial while there's yellow here. They can't possibly have another one while we're there. We'll be back with more action from the Carquest Auto Parts Stores 300 in just a minute. Really hasn't changed very much from the start of the event. Steve Grissom is still our race leader, as he has been for all 84 laps, with Chuck Bound right behind him. Then it's Kenny Wallace. Those two have been shuffling that 2nd spot, and you see the rest of the top 5 there with Butch Miller. Here's the reason for our latest caution.
And you can see the cars coming together there in turn number 2. You see Cecil Eunice in the yellow and the red car on the outside. He's hung out there, no place to go. Watch the car just slide out from under him there. He's in the marbles now. He has no control over the car, slides up into the wall, and it continues to turn. Then he overcorrects and it whips around with him. I tell you, those guys around him did a great, masterful job of missing him. There goes 75 Ward Burton.
Jimmy Hensley also did a good job sneaking by there. Hensley made an unscheduled pit stop a while back, looking to get back into contention.
And let's go quickly down to pit road and Bill Hennessy.
Pretty good, but it was so slick out there that the racetrack was coming up pretty bad. He said he thought they'd be racing on dirt before the day was over. We're going to try to keep that Roddenberry Oldsmobile out front. Well, there they go.
And once again, Steve Grissom does as he has done throughout the race. He tries to pull away, but as he has done through most of these restarts, Chuck Bound won't let him get very far off. Now, Dave Rezendes did make up one of the 2 laps that he lost as he came back to the start-finish line, so he is now 1 lap down. He is presently sitting in 4th position on the speedway.
Yeah, Rezendes did a great job there in getting by Grissom during that last caution period. Now you're going to watch if we can run a few laps under green here. I think once again you'll see car number 31, Grissom, start to pull away from the rest of the field. It's to his advantage for the race to stay green. You see Bound, when his tires are cool, he can mount a charge like right now. He drives right by.
And we have a change for the lead on lap 88 as Chuck Bound has taken over the top spot.
This is the first lap all season. The defending Busch Grand National Series champion Chuck Bound has led. He won the pole in Volusia County, didn't lead a lap. So Bound starting to pull away now in the Nescafe Classic Pontiac. As we've got Grissom with big problems out of turn 4. Something is wrong with Steve Grissom. That car lurching all over the racetrack.
And let's follow that back there at the top of the screen as Steve Grissom is now a roadblock where moments ago he was the race leader. A tire is going down. It looks like a left rear tire, and that is going to bring our pole sitter to pit road. And what a heartbreak for a man who really needed a good break today.
That monkey that climbed on Steve Grissom's back at the beginning of 1991 is now the size of King Kong. You see all the front end damage. You might have thought sooner or later some of that sheet metal had to rub on one of those Goodyear tires.
It looks like that's what happened, Mark. They are changing right side tires. And then, folks, as you're looking at that car, that's amazing. That's the car that was leading the race, and the whole front end is practically knocked off of it. He's down and away and back out into the action now.
And we thought it was a left rear, our initial report, but from all the damage that he had in that earlier incident with Mike Oliver, it was indeed a right front tire which went down. He is down 2 laps to our race leader, Chuck Bound, the defending Busch Grand National champion. Now in 3rd position is Butch Miller. 4th, Bobby Donner, having his best run of the season to this point as we are approaching the 1/3 mark of the race. And in turn number 1, the 85 car, that is Bobby Moon, having some serious problems, throwing up a sheet of sparks as he heads toward the back pits.